Today I'm going to talk about what baby chicks eat. Sometimes you go to the store and you buy those little itty bitty little newborn baby chicks, and also sometimes you'll have a hen and she'll hatch out her own little chickie babies. And a lot of people just don't understand what those teeny weeny little things eat. That's what I'm going to talk about today. Let's go. Welcome to Becky's Homestead. Little newborn chickie babies don't eat for the first 3 days of their life. That's how they are able to ship them to the stores, because they don't have to put food or water in the boxes, and they don't. Also, the reasoning behind that is, it's very ingenious, is because when mama chick is hatching them out, the eggs don't all hatch at the exact same time in one day. So there's like a 3-day variation there. And she'll stay on her nest, and some of the chicks will hatch and they don't eat. They just stay with her, hiding under her while the brothers and sisters are hatching out. So after 3 days, she will leave the nest with all of the little chicks at the same time. That's how it works. They all leave together. So by the time they leave the nest, some of the chicks will be 3 days old. Some will be 2 days old, and there'll be a few that are just 1 day old. Sometimes when mama leaves the nest with her little chickie babies, there'll be 1, 2, or 3 eggs left in the nest that aren't hatched out. She will leave with the majority of them because that's her survival mode telling her that. It's like she's got to tend to the ones that are alive. What'll happen though, if the nest is down below on the ground, she'll return to the nest in the evening with her babies, and she will continue to sit on those eggs for one more night. And if the eggs aren't hatched by the next day, the next morning, I just get rid of the eggs. I have seen an egg hatch late, like the second day when she returned back for that night. I've seen 1 or 2 eggs hatch late like that. But once she leaves it for the next day, she usually doesn't come back and hatch them. She'll try to kind of push the egg out of the way and just be there with her babies. So just don't touch the eggs. If there's a couple left in there, just leave them overnight the next time. Some people will say, oh, should I crack them open? And all? No, don't touch them. Just don't do any of that. Don't go there. Just get rid of them and just focus on the ones that are alive and with mama. Little tiny chickie babies start out by eating teeny weeny little specks of food because they're like the size of a little cotton ball. So obviously the food is just little tiny specks. Sometimes you'll see them pecking around and you're like trying to look and you're like, what are they eating? It's just so small. But that is how they start out. In the store, they sell this food called Chick Starter. I always buy unmedicated. When you get it, sometimes you'll look at that food and you'll look at the size of the little chicken and you're like, it still looks too big, So I'll just crush some of that up. I have like a medicine bowl, and I'll just crush some of that up and make it even smaller just to like spoil them and baby them because they're so cute. And if you have a mama hen, I'll put the Chick Starter out and she shows them what to do. You're lucky if you have mama hen taking care of her own babies. It makes everything so much easier. And she takes way better care of them, and she's diligent 24/7 with those little babies. And I have noticed that if you're lucky enough to have mama hen hatch the babies out and take care of them, they turn out so much smarter, so much stronger, and so much healthier. That's not to say you can't do a good job, if you buy them in the store. You absolutely can do a good job of raising them and they will grow up healthy. It's just there is definitely a difference because mama teaches them stuff. So when you buy them from the store, make sure you buy that Chick Start. Anything really super tiny they will eat. I have ground up whole corn in my NutriBullet into like fine little corn powder. They'll eat that. I have ground up some whole oats in my NutriBullet and feed them that because In my mind, I want to feed them whole food as quick as possible. It just makes them really healthy. So you can just keep those two things in mind if you have a NutriBullet or some kind of kitchen appliance that can grind stuff up. That works really well. Make sure you offer them chick grit. The chick grit is the same thing. It's just ground up extra small, and they start eating that right away. As soon as they're eating, they need the grit to start grinding up the food, and so they can digest it. So teeny weeny little chicks will eat that. Sometimes I'll just put sand in their little container, and they will pick in the sand and get little pieces and use that as grit. Obviously, the little teeny weeny little chickie babies need to drink water as well. So don't forget the water bowl. It's very important to realize the little chicks will drown in a water bowl if you just put out a little, like a deep bowl. It's surprising that those things will jump. They're kind of determined, and they're kind of rambunctious. Even when they're teeny, they'll get in if the water bowl's that deep, they'll get in there, and once they get wet, they can't jump out because they're just too heavy. So make double, triple sure you buy a little tiny chick waterer, or make sure you use something very shallow, like a shallow little pie plate of some kind, or just something very shallow. So even if they get in it, they can just stand in it and then they'll get out. If you want to learn all about chickens and how to take care of them, you can buy my book, Becky's Guide to Raising Backyard Chickens. You can click the link below to check it out.